The History Pathways Assembly. I'm just going to talk you through all things history GCSE related. If I just start off with the structure, history GCSE is divided up into 4 different units, 2 papers. The first one, section A, is Understanding the Modern World, and at the moment we are just talking about a period study of about 55 years. It will either be the America 1840 to 1895, which is sort of expansion and consolidation, sort of the American West, or Germany 1890 to 1945, which is looking at democracy and dictatorship. At the moment, we haven't quite decided which one of those we're going to do, but it'll be one of those. Following that, there will be a wider depth study, which is called Conflict and Tension, which is looking at the interwar years between 1918 and 1939. Moving on to paper 2, Shaping the Nation, we look at a thematic study, which is Britain, Health and the People, which is essentially looking at the history of medicine and how it progressed and regressed at various different points throughout history since 1000 AD. Section B is our British depth study, and we'll look at the Normans, which I know that we've already done so in year 7. However, we go into a lot more depth and look at lots of other topics within the Normans than we did in year 7. So I suppose the question is, why study history? Well, quite simply, because history is great fun, but there's also lots of other reasons as well. We know that if we learn about the past, it teaches us more about the present and why things are the way that they are, especially within the political and the social and economic worlds. It allows us to build empathy through studying the lives and struggles of other people. It can be quite personal. We know that if we study history, a lot of us have got sort of personal stories and things like that from their past and history, and relatives that have been involved in various different key points in history, which is obviously really interesting. There's lots of mysteries to solve in history as well, or not necessarily solve, but certainly to look into. There are lots of things that we're not quite sure about and that we have to cast our own kind of opinions over and look into. And the other thing, I suppose, is everything in the world has a history, and everything is here for a reason, and it's got to the point that it's at because of things that have happened prior to that, and that's history, and that's what I really like about history. So there's loads of really cool things, sort of why history is so important and so much fun to study. As I said, just going through the different topics, I won't go through all of these in any more depth than what I already have done, but the America expansion and consolidation, so the American West, if you will, look at the that movement and the migration from the east coast of America to the west coast and the implications that had for the Native Americans that were living on the plains, that area in the middle of the Americas, and what that meant, and how the white people of Europe conquered and consolidated that area, and why America essentially looks like it does today. We look at the conflict across America, the conquering the Native Americans, as said, the impact on that, and also the consolidation there as well. So looking at things like the American Civil War, the North versus South, and how it was secured, and eventually the Native Americans essentially lost the plains. Moving on to Germany, democracy and dictatorship, we're looking at the how Germany was essentially formed and the growth of their democracy, looking at what's called the Weimar Republic, and then essentially the impact of various different world events such as the Great Depression and the impact that had on Germany, and how that allowed Adolf Hitler to come to power, and then what he did to secure and consolidate his power of the Nazi Party, and then the start of the Second World War. With regards to conflict and tension, that's very much looking between the interwar years, so looking at, to start off with, how World War I comes to an end, the Treaty of Versailles, the armistice, and the implications that has on Germany, who have essentially lost the war, and then how that leads to World War II a little bit later on, the sort of the harsh terms of the peace treaty that essentially played a massive part 20 or so years later in creating the Second World War. We look at something called the League of Nations and the failure of the League of Nations to command international peace within Europe at that time, and also the other major factors in the outbreak of World War II as well. Moving on to paper 2, so we'll be looking at kind of how medicine has progressed and regressed. We look at different types of aspects of medicine. We look at surgery and anatomy, we look at public health, and we also look at disease and infection. Okay, so we look at how things change, how things progress, how we know medicine that we rely so heavily on these days has in fact how we got to that stage, but also what are those historical and ancient techniques that actually are still being used today. And then we move on to the Normans. So we look at the conquest of the Normans coming over from Normandy, conquering the Saxons, what life was like under the Normans and how things changed, and also the impact of that invasion on the Norman church and the monasteries. And we'll also look at a historical environment, so a castle or a historical kind of setting from the Norman era. I won't go through all of these, but I'll let you look at these in a little bit more detail. You can see there Year 9, Year 10 and Year 11 history, the different topics that we cover in a little bit more depth. I'll let you look at those in more detail at your own leisure. But there is obviously loads of good stuff in there as well. So just linking to now, why is it important? Thinking about the future opportunities, careers as a historian. The good thing about history, it's very broad. It gives you lots of different skills such as evaluation, debating, extending your writing, your empathy and compassion. And that will allow you to sort of do a whole plethora of jobs. They can be quite specific jobs to history, such as historians and archaeologists, or the skills that you've learned can lead very nicely into things like journalism and law, media, TV, education, all those sorts of things as well, but obviously not limited to that list there. And then finally, just any sort of questions that we're quite often asked. Will there be history trips? Yes, there will be. Historically, we've done things like trips to the American West in Italy, Belgium and France. We're still just sort of deciding on which ones we're going to do, and we'll do more local ones as well. There is no coursework or controlled assessment. It's all done via exams at the end of Year 11. And is Key Stage 4 like Key Stage 3? Yes, it is. There's lots of good stuff in there as well. And it's not too dissimilar, but there is a slightly more controlled focus on the exam. Now, the question I often get asked is there loads of writing in history? Well, there is writing in history. We're not going to get away from that. I will work with you around kind of refining and making your writing as concise as possible, and your skills in answering and writing will hugely be improved. I think there is a common misconception that you're just going to be turning in these massive essays, which is not the case. There is going to be extended writing, and you are going to need to be able to make notes and things like that. However, there's nothing that we can't support you with if you are a little bit concerned with that as well. So please don't think you're going to be submitting 15 pages of writing for homework every week, because that's not the case. However, there is obviously that element of literacy and writing as part of the subject. If you've got any further questions, please feel free to ask me. Obviously, the Tasterless sessions will be there to help you, and we look forward to as many of you signing up to history as possible.